Okay, well, thank you very much for this invitation. Let's start as we have little time. So I'm from the Education Division, head of the STEM Education Public Outreach Direction. And this is what we're going to see in a few minutes. A little bit of background and so on and so forth. Why I got into the space thing? Well, in 1971, I got selected to be part of the Explorer Space Seminar at Kennedy Space Center. And it was the time for the Apollo 15. It's sitting over there. And at those times, we were able to go just about everywhere in the Cape. I am there at the crawler transport, inside the crawler transport, places where now it's kind of almost impossible for a tourist to go around. And other interesting item is that in the 60s, about 30 Apollo area astronauts trained at the Pinacate Reserve. Among them, Alan Shepard, who performed with his crew a full analog of the different pathways that they will take on the moon because of the landscapes allowed it in. And next year, a friend and I, we went across the desert, that area, which is pretty large, not knowing that a few months earlier, there was a training grounds for astronauts. And we did a drive from Mexico City to San Francisco on that Beetle. It was a very nice adventure. So you maybe remember, although you were very little when this happened in 1957, the first man-made object was sent to orbit, and in October. 2 months later, December, students and professors of the San Luis Potosí University were sending the first sounding rocket, Mexican sounding rocket. Years later, there was the first Mexican space agency established from 1962 to 1977. They were already sending rockets up to more than 100 kilometers high. This is a picture of the during the Olympic Games in Mexico. For reasons we don't know, that space agency was terminated. And until recently, that these guys, again, students and professors, sent a new sounding rocket a couple of years ago. Well, now let's talk about the Mexican Space Agency. And well, this is, in this picture, it's about 80% of the Mexican Space Agency personnel. The other 10% is in the building down to the left, which is in the state of Mexico, and the other one in the round building, the other 10% is up there. So we are about 60 persons. This is the Space Center for research in space telecommunications. It has capabilities for building CubeSats, rovers, and of course, education. This is a very romantic picture of the Center for Space Research in state of Mexico. They will do eventually work with satellite images, small sats, small rockets up to 12 meters high, and of course, education. This is not that nice landscape. We have grown to a place to grow towards this part of the picture. Now, the Colmena mission is going to be the first Mexican mission to the moon. It will be delivered. I talked with the main researcher a few days ago, and he's still not 100% sure that they will be launched this year at the end of the year. This is one of their labs, and here to the right you see the robots. They're going to send a ½ kilo payload to the moon, and there are 5 of these guys that are going to be sent to the regolith, to the dust, lunar dust, from the Peregrine lunar lander. Actually, from one of these shells, there will be the payload, and it's going to be literally catapulted to the soil, because if they drop it, you don't want to be in the shade of the lander, so they have to be sent a few meters away. And what they're going to do, the first part of the experiment, of course, will be the survival of the payload during the trip to the moon, which is not 3 days as the Apollo astronauts did. It's going to be a few weeks. So the first is going to be the survival of the payload. Then, if the little robots get to the soil, they will have to search for each other. They will look for each other, and when they connect, they will get better power. They have solar cells. They will have better power. They will communicate with the lander to send the information back to Earth, and for them to know that the payload is working and what part of the experiment is being performed. As you may know, the lunar soil has an effect due to the constant bombardment of the solar wind. So there is an effect that hasn't been studied yet, and this is going to be the first experiment to study what happens in the 10 centimeters above the lunar soil. So we're very proud of it. We're starting about to start the next project, which is a constellation. It's called AztecSat, and it is for to monitor sea animals movement in the Gulf of Mexico. Actually, the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management is doing this through buoys and balloons and what have you. But they are sure that sending a small fleet of satellites, they can get better readings. So 5 universities are collaborating in this project. They're going to build the 4 CubeSats. The project is to be launched in 2024, and it's going to be announced during the National Congress of Space Activities in Mexico, coming up in September. So we are also pushing forward the establishment of the Latin American Caribbean Space Agency, LACSA, or ALCE in Spanish. And this was an initiative already from 2020, when Mexico had the head of CELAC, the community of Central and Caribbean states. So far, 20 countries have signed that they are willing to be taking into account for the ALCE. 6 of them have ratified, 2 more coming, and it's 11 needed to start really the operation phase, which we hope would be soon. So we still have to develop the structure, the program of activities, and the terms of operation. And well, I didn't put it there, but funding will be crucial. Here we have the picture of the Mexico's ambassador to the ALCE. Outreach, what are we doing? Well, we first we were able to put together a book on the law. It's a law, basically, cooperation regulation, because we need to press for the Constitution need to be amended as to be able to give legal floor to the enterprises, to the companies that want to establish a strong foot in Mexico to develop the Mexican space industry. So there's still job to be done. Of course, the book is in Spanish. We have this outreach magazine called Hacia el Espacio, where you can find all the gossip, all the notices and interesting items about what is happening, not only in Mexico, but around the world. And we're still giving, push or impulsing or helping young students and professionals to get closer to the space activities. This is a picture a few years ago. These guys, you can see them, they're very happy to be in participating with paperworks and stuff at the IAC. And this year, it's about 50 Mexicans going to Paris. I'm not sure if Paris was a force of attraction for them to submit papers, but I hope it is the IAC itself. Of course, we're celebrating the World Space Week. In 2018, we had the third place worldwide. And well, this year is very important because it's space and sustainability, very important for the world. Of course, this is the third edition of the Mexican National Congress for Space Activities, and it's going to be mixed, presential and remote. So you can check if you want to see what's happening. It's going to be in Spanish, unfortunately, for most of the presentations. And it's going to be in a very nice setting. It's the Descubre Museum of Science and Technology in Aguascalientes, which is a state towards the north. And it's going to be very good. So deep space exploration, we have already signed the Artemis Moon Agreement. So we hope to be riding along our friends from different countries, as the Italians show just about a few minutes ago. And we are interested also in getting to the challenges of developing ISRU, developing human capital, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is it. I hope I was within time.